Hey guys, Jay from RS Garage. Today I came up to Connecticut for the Tri-State Super Meet. So this is at the Lime Rock Raceway, which is a pretty phenomenally beautiful venue. And it was do this or do the GTR event, and because the Supra has been such an instrumental part of my career, I decided I'd come up here. So I've been on a bit of a bender between Maryland, SEMA, El Mirage, and now this, but I think this is a worthwhile event, and there's a lot of Supras here. So there's first gen cars all the way to Mark V cars, and a good showing of these cars. So we're gonna go through today and try to pick a favorite and give that guy a $500 gift certificate to the store. Behind me is a first-gen Supra. This car was built in 1979, so it's almost as old as I am, less than a year difference. Came with a factory 6-cylinder engine that has roots in the engine all the way back to the late 60s to the Toyota 2000 GT, which was a really neat car that was ahead of its time. 116 horsepower, 18-second quarter mile, solid axle from the factory. So it's the first-gen car had a solid axle versus the IRS that came later. But pretty neat car to see, kind of point of origin on the Toyota Supra, kind of car that a lot of us are more than fond of. Is a cache of Mark II cars. They have dual overhead cam, and they made over 160 horsepower, which may not sound like a lot, but in 1982 and 1983, that was ahead of the Mustang and the Camaro and the Corvette. I mean, they were pretty fast cars for their time, and they have these pretty big bulbous tires and the fender flares, which is a really neat kind of a muscle car type approach to the early 80s. So behind me is a Supra that you guys are probably more familiar with. That's a Mark III car. The Mark III came with a 7M engine, which arguably its biggest problem was the composite head gasket, because people would modify them, and the head gasket, being a composite gasket, was pretty easy to blow. So you'd blow the head gasket, then you'd have to work on the engine. So they kind of got a bad rap. But there's a handful of guys that made a lot of power with the 7M over a number of years, and it's not a bad engine. We probably just weren't careful enough with it. And then once the 1JZ and 2JZ came along, there wasn't really as much drive to mess with the 7M, and most of them got swapped out.
So that was pretty awesome. There's a huge cache of Supras, a lot of Mark IV cars, a couple guys that I've helped over the years. We gave $500 gift certificate to the Best of Show Mark IV, which is a really beautiful Baltic car by a guy's name is Monty. But there's a huge cache of Toyotas here. That was pretty good. I don't think I've ever seen that many Supras in one place, and really geeked out about some stuff and some wheels. There's a couple sets of wheels here I really like that own. So that's the Tri-State Super Meet. That's a wrap. I hope to come back next year. Maybe I can even bring my car.